In Vancouver, the average home costs over $1 million. Let that sink in for a moment. Yes, you heard it right. Vancouver, known for its stunning coastal landscapes and vibrant urban life, is now making headlines for a different reason: its jaw-dropping housing market. Over the past 10 years, the cost of housing has skyrocketed, making it one of the most expensive cities in North America to own a home. What was once a dream for many has now turned into a nightmare. The reality is, Vancouver's real estate has become a hotbed for investors, both domestic and international, causing prices to surge. This increase is not a small blip on the radar. We're talking about a staggering rise, an escalation that has made the dream of owning a home seem like a far-off fantasy for many residents. The impact of this housing boom is being felt far and wide, but it's the average citizen, particularly the younger generation, who are bearing the brunt of this surge. Imagine being fresh out of college, starting your career, and the prospect of owning a home in the city you grew up in seems like a distant dream. It's a reality that many young Vancouverites are grappling with today. And it's not just about owning a home. The rental market is just as daunting. With rental rates also on the rise, even finding a decent place to rent at an affordable price is becoming a Herculean task. The cost of living is spiraling upwards, and income levels are struggling to keep pace. The situation raises a crucial question. Is Vancouver becoming an unaffordable city? It's a question that we can't ignore, and it's a question that demands immediate attention. For a city that prides itself on its quality of life, the current state of the housing market is a shocking revelation. It's a wake-up call that needs to be addressed before the dream of living in Vancouver becomes an unattainable luxury for many. Considering these numbers, is Vancouver becoming an unaffordable city? It's a question that we'll continue to explore as we delve deeper into this alarming issue. Now, one might wonder, how does Vancouver's housing market compare to other major cities globally? Well, let's take a trip around the world to find out. Our first stop is New York, often hailed as one of the most expensive cities to live in. The Big Apple's median home price is a staggering $700,000. But hold on to your wallets, because Vancouver's median home price is a whopping $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. Vancouver's housing market outprices even New York. Next, we cross the pond to London. Known for its historic charm and high cost of living, London's median home price stands at around $600,000. Even in a city with a monarchy, Vancouver's housing market reigns supreme. Finally, let's head down under to Sydney. Australia's most populous city has a median home price of around $800,000. A pretty penny for sure, but still a far cry from Vancouver's $1 million median. Now, why is this comparison important? It's not just about the numbers, it's about what these numbers represent: a city that is becoming increasingly unaffordable for its residents. Vancouver's housing market is particularly problematic because the cost of housing is rising at a rate that far outpaces income growth. This disparity is creating a widening gap between the rich and the poor, making it difficult for average citizens to own a home. Moreover, Vancouver's high cost of living extends beyond housing. From groceries to gas, everything is more expensive here. This is due in part to the city's geographical isolation and the high cost of importing goods. As a result, Vancouver residents are not only dealing with exorbitant housing prices, but also with a high cost of living. And there you have it. When stacked against global giants like New York, London, and Sydney, Vancouver's housing market is not just comparable, it's considerably more expensive. As we can see, Vancouver's housing market is in a league of its own. Behind these numbers are real people, struggling to keep a roof over their heads. When we talk about the housing crisis in Vancouver, we are talking about more than just skyrocketing prices and unmanageable costs. We're talking about families, about individuals, about humans who are grappling with the reality of being priced out of their own homes, their own city. Let's take a moment to put a human face on this issue. Imagine a single mother, working 2 jobs, who still can't manage to scrape together enough for rent. She's faced with the impossible choice of food for her children or a roof over their heads. Or consider the young graduate, bright and eager, who has to turn down a dream job in Vancouver simply because the salary won't cover the cost of living. These are not isolated incidents, but everyday realities for too many Vancouverites. The impact of this crisis extends beyond the financial. The stress and anxiety of living on the edge, of not knowing if you'll be able to keep your home next month, takes a severe toll on mental health. Depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues are rising, with many attributing their struggles to the constant financial strain. The quality of life is also deeply affected. When a significant portion of your income is funneled into housing, there's little left for other necessities, let alone the joys that make life worth living. Things like leisure activities, vacations, or even just a night out with friends. The city's vibrant culture and sense of community are at risk as residents are forced to tighten their belts or leave altogether. Moreover, this crisis is creating a deep divide in Vancouver, segregating the city by income and pushing out those who can't keep up with the soaring costs. This is not the vibrant, diverse city we know and love. The housing crisis in Vancouver is not just a financial issue, but a humanitarian one. And it's high time we treated it as such. We need to acknowledge the human toll and work towards solutions that address not just the economic, but also the social and psychological impacts of this crisis. Pierre Poliverre and the Conservatives have proposed measures to solve this problem. They recognize the gravity of the situation and the need for action. The proposed measures aim to tackle Vancouver's housing crisis head-on, hoping to make housing more affordable and accessible for all. Firstly, they propose a comprehensive review of zoning laws. This aims to encourage the construction of more affordable homes and apartments. By easing restrictions and cutting red tape, they plan to stimulate the housing market, making it easier for developers to build and for people to buy. Secondly, they intend to implement a first-time home buyer incentive. This would provide financial assistance to those entering the housing market for the first time, making the dream of owning a home more achievable. This measure is particularly focused on helping younger Canadians, who often find themselves priced out of the market. Next on their list is a plan to increase the supply of affordable rental housing. This involves providing incentives for the construction of low-cost rental properties and ensuring that these properties remain affordable for the long term. They also aim to address the issue of foreign investment. While foreign investment can boost the economy, it can also drive up housing prices, making it harder for locals to afford homes. The Conservatives propose stricter regulations on foreign ownership of Canadian real estate to help keep prices in check. Lastly, they propose the introduction of a housing bill of rights. This would guarantee every Canadian the right to access affordable housing, making it a central aspect of Canadian law and policy. These measures, if implemented effectively, could have a substantial impact on Vancouver's housing market. They offer a potential pathway to making housing more affordable and accessible for all. But will they be enough to solve the crisis? The answer to that question is complex and multifaceted, with many variables at play. It will depend on the commitment and perseverance of our leaders, and on the willingness of all stakeholders to work together in the pursuit of a common goal. Will these measures be enough to solve Vancouver's housing crisis? Only time will tell. You might wonder, what can I do about this? Well, there are several ways you can make a difference when it comes to the housing crisis. First and foremost, you can advocate for affordable housing policies. This could be as simple as writing to your local representative, voicing your concerns, and making it clear that affordable housing is a priority for you. Your voice matters, and it's important that it's heard. You can also take a more hands-on approach by volunteering with housing charities. These organizations work tirelessly to provide shelter for those in need and to advocate for more affordable housing. Your time, skills, and compassion can make a real difference in the lives of individuals and families struggling to find affordable homes. Perhaps you're passionate about politics. If that's the case, consider supporting political candidates who prioritize housing affordability. Ask tough questions, find out where they stand on the issue, and don't be afraid to hold them accountable. Your vote is a powerful tool, and it can be used to bring about change. In addition to these actions, you can educate yourself and others about the housing crisis. The more people understand the complexities of the issue, the more likely they are to support solutions. Read up on the subject, attend public meetings, and share what you've learned with your friends, family, and social media followers. Furthermore, you can use your spending power to support businesses that are committed to fair housing practices. This could include landlords who maintain affordable rents, or companies that donate a portion of their profits to housing charities. Finally, remember to be empathetic and understanding. The housing crisis affects people from all walks of life, and they're not just statistics. They're our neighbors, our friends, our family. We're all in this together, so let's treat each other with kindness and respect. Remember, change starts with you. Together we can make Vancouver a city where everyone can afford a home.